Here, guys. This week we are actually launching into our Balance and Grow Your Life Challenge. So my videos each day this week are going to be around that, Monday through Friday. And then if you pop into my group, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise, a faith-based journey to do more, give more, and serve more, there will also be tasks each day posted in there. Like today, you can look for a link to do an assessment. All of this is based around this book, Ula, Find Balance in an Unbalanced World. So if you don't have the book and you want to grab the book, I'll post the link to that also in my group. But today we're just going to get started in a little bit about what we are actually talking about. What are we trying to accomplish in this challenge? So the idea is to step into the life that God created us to live, to be the change in our world. And that starts with our world, right? And how can we be change in our world if we can't affect change in our own life, right? So we're going to look at ways to evaluate our life. We're going to look at where we want to grow our life, areas that need more attention to balance the life. And then we're going to set goals to get where we want, and we'll compare a plan, a step-by-step plan to get there. So that's kind of like in a nutshell what we're going to be accomplishing this week. I know you're probably seeing lots and lots of stuff out there around, setting goals and all of that. But what I really want to instill is more than a New Year's resolution, more than a goal you want to accomplish, is the life you want to achieve, and then creating a way to get there. And what better time to do that than the new year? All right. If you're on, feel free to ask questions, engage. I can throw your comments up and we can have a dialogue there. All right. So, forgive me for looking down. I have my notes because we have a lot of information to cover and I want to make sure that I get it all done in a timely manner. All right. So, if you were like me, you kind of repeatedly ask yourself, okay, every time this year comes around, I do a lot of my birthday. 'Cause my birthday was just last week, and I look forward to the new year. And I think, okay, what have I accomplished this year? Where am I at in my life? How am I doing as a mom, as a wife? In my job, in my career, in my health. Kind of look at and evaluate all those different areas of my life, and kind of think about where I want to go in the following year, which is now this coming year, right? So and Ula is a book that I should use. It's a great framework that I love to use in my own life because it looks at the 7 areas of life. We look at fitness, finance, family, field, which is your career, faith, friends, and fun. So it kind of gives you all the areas to kind of break your life down. Not that we ever want to just completely segment our life, but just a way to get a look at our life across the border and see how we're doing, right? So it's important to evaluate where you are in regard with your goals and where you are on your path and your plan. So I'm going to share this definition with you just in case you're not familiar with ULA. And this is part of the reason that I like to use it is because I just love that the way they articulate. It says ULA is an adjective derived from the French expression "ooh la la" is a state of awesomeness. Okay, a life that is balanced and growing in the key areas of all those areas I already shared: health, finance, career, relationships, and well-being. A destination, right? It describes the actions, insights, and goals of a balanced life. Now, there are people out there that say it is impossible to live a balanced life, and that will shut them down right away. But I will tell you this: yes, you may not be able to have every area consistently balanced, but the idea behind it is to keep all of your plates spinning. And what I mean by that is if you've read the book or if you're familiar with the illustration, I know I shared this at a Leisure Heat back in September. It is shared in the book, and that is if you've ever seen one of those circus acts where the guy has like 7 poles and he's got 7 plates and he's got to put a plate up and start spinning it. And then he gets another plate and start spinning it and another plate. And probably around plate 3 or 4, he has to evaluate, do I go back and spin the first plate or do I go ahead and add a second plate? So that's what I mean when I say we can't always maybe not have everything balanced perfectly, but we can always keep our plates spinning in all area of life and never have one drop and break. Because if you've ever been in a place in your life where something or one of those areas of life have dropped and broken, you know what I'm talking about. Whether that's financially, whether it's getting away from your faith, whether that's having something happen in your family or a health crisis. Those are instances of one of your plates falling. And so we're here to make sure that we can keep all of those plates spinning, all of the areas in our life balanced on those poles. Okay. So I love Dr. Troy's illustration, and he's the one who said the plates because I can relate to it so well. But then we step back and we look at Dr. Dave's illustration. He talks about the pink bike. The pink bike, riding his illustration of riding the pink bike is when you are in a place where you feel depressed, you feel stressed, or you feel tired and that you're going nowhere. And in the book, he used the illustration of riding the pink bike because he's riding a hand-me-down bike from his sisters. I'll let you go and read that another time. So I want you to sit and think today. Are you spinning all those plates? Do you have one of your plates have fallen? Or are you riding that pink bike? Are you sitting there today feeling like I don't know what I'm doing with my life? I don't know how to dream. I had someone reach out to me just this week and say, I've always struggled with the idea of setting goals, and I've always struggled with the idea of dreaming. I don't know why. And my answer to them was that they're not alone. Because if that's you today, you are not alone. It's a mindset thing. It's so what I mean by mindset, and we'll get a lot more into this in the coming year. But what I mean by mindset is these are decisions unconsciously made in your mind based on past experiences. And these can be experiences that you recall. These can be experiences that you say, yes, I know exactly when that happens. They can be experiences from as early as toddler, when you're a baby, all the way up through present day. And they can be from many, many other things. Also, perspective. It could be an experience that you had and the way you perceive it, or something that someone has spoken over you. So there's lots of things that kind of get in and shape our mindsets, but then our mindset shapes who we become and the choices that we make. And the good news is that even though it's unconscious, that we can take control of that and we can choose our mindset. And that we're not a slave to that mindset that we currently have. We can change our mindset and step more into our growth, because there's basically two mindsets that exist. One is a fixed mindset, and one is a mindset of growth. And people sometimes will call them abundance and scarcity. There's different names and levels out there, but it all boils down to two basic mindsets. The fixed mindset says, life is always going to be like this. I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. It's kind of that mindset of I am what I am and I'm here and that's all there ever is going to be, right? And a lot of it has based in fear, whether it's fear of failure, fear of success. And then you have the mindset of growth. And then a growth mindset says, well, failure is just a learning process. The mindset of growth says, I can go do and be whatever I choose to go do and be. I can learn how to get there. I can learn what I want to do. Some people will say, half cup empty, half cup full. They'll compare it that way. So it's big about a perspective in life. So if you're sitting there, just know that there's hope, and that just start going through the process. Even if it feels unnatural, even if your mind kicks back, because it'll say, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? This is stupid. You can't do that. All those things, that inner voice. Because we are our worst enemy sometimes, right? It's natural, and you just have to keep pushing through it. I encourage you to do that today. So as I mentioned earlier, when this video is over, I'll be going in the group and making a post. If you're not in the group, it is Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise, a faith-based journey to do more, give more, and serve more. And you will see a post there with some action steps, and there'll be a link in there for an assessment today. There'll be some information, so you want to pop over there when we're done to take advantage of that. But yeah, so a growth mindset says you will never fail, right? It says failure is just a lesson learned. All right, so in this challenge, we're going to discover who we are, we're determine where we want to go, and we're going to eliminate our blockers. We're going to identify the things. So blockers are things that keep us from going where we want to go. So we're going to identify those. Then we're going to eliminate those. We're going to identify accelerators, and accelerators are things that are kind of push us forward and help us get on the path of where we want to go. So then we're going to implement those. So we're going to identify blockers, eliminate blockers, identify accelerators, and implement them, right? And we're going to create a plan to live the life that God created you to be. And that is core to my whole mission. If you followed me for any time, I talk a lot about money as a financial coach. I talk a lot about health, because I truly believe that if we are not taking care of our body, our health, our life here is one of the greatest gifts that God's given us. If we're not taking care of our body, it's going to limit what we can do, where we can go, and how we can serve, right? And if we're not taking care of our finances, it's also going to inhibit those three things. So you heard me talking a lot about doing more, giving more, and serving more. And that's kind of my passion, is to empower and equip other believers to step into that life that God created to live, because all too often we kind of get stuck. We get stuck in the day-to-day, we get stuck in the here and now, and we get stuck in the problems that we're currently facing in our current situation. So once we can kind of zoom out of that, get a right perspective on our life, set some goals, create a plan, and start moving towards that, we're able to step into the life that we are created to live. That's what I believe. All right. So if you are stuck in a place of fear, that can be fear of failure, fear of success, fear of the unknown, lots of fears, right? That's very normal. Shame, guilt, stress, all of these things are not where we are supposed to be. God did not create us to live in that space. He created us to live in one of freedom where we're going to do more, give more, and serve more. Can I get an amen? Okay. So what I want you to do is pop one in the group. If you don't have the book, go ahead and grab the book. There's lots more information in there. You don't need the book to do this journey with me. That's perfectly fine. But it is an amazing group. You can also grab an Audible. I will have the link up for you, like I said. But I want you to go into the group, think about what we've talked about a little bit. It's kind of think about, okay, what do I think? What are your tendencies? Do I tend to be more on the fixed mindset, or do I tend to be on the growth mindset? Because even if you're in the growth mindset camp, there's always room for improvement, right? You know that. So we want to kind of evaluate where we're at. You will also find in there an evaluation. The evaluation is going to ask you questions. It's going to kind of be a precursor to what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Because what we're going to hit up tomorrow is the 7 areas of this life. We're going to dive a little bit deeper in those 7 areas that I mentioned. And in the book, they call them the 7 F's. The fitness, all things health, finance, family, field is your career. And that includes if you're a stay-at-home mom or a homeschooling mom, that lands right in that field category. Faith, what we believe, and then friends, and then of course fun, because we want to make sure that we're balancing our lives in all of those areas. And in order to do that, we have to sit back and evaluate that and assess, what are we doing? How are we doing in those different areas of life? And where do we need to improve? And what goals do we have? All right. So, and like I said, I'm going to read this quote. It's impossible to perfectly balance your life in each of these areas. I just wake up each day and make sure my plates are still spinning. And if I notice one is starting to wobble, I spin it so it doesn't hit the floor. And that's kind of what we're here to do this week. We're to keep trying to create balance in our life first. And then we're going to put our eyes on growth. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. We're here to chat. And then, like I said, make sure you download that assessment. You complete it. You'll get it in an email. And then you make sure you want to do that throughout this week and make sure that you get that done so that you can proceed the process at least by Friday, because Fridays when we're really going to start diving in and creating those goals. And we want to make sure that in creating that plan. So today we're just kind of doing an overview of the land. Tomorrow we're going to dive into the 7 F's. That's Tuesday. Wednesday we'll look at the blockers. Thursday we'll look at the accelerators. And then Friday we're going to look at setting our goals and creating that plan. All right, guys, it's been great chatting with you. And if you're not in the group, pop it in there so you can get the assessment. That is going to be, if you've already in my group earlier, it used to be Faithful and Financially Free Families. It is now, the name change this past month has been upgraded to Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise, because that's going to be a reflection of all the things that we're talking about and how we're going to get our life on the path that we need to be on. But it's Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise, a faith-based journey to do more, give more, and serve more. And I'll see you guys in there.